You'd never guess, the way she was scavenging made me crack the case instantly. Once I knew her identity, it became a piece of cake. She just needed to put on a pummy look. She said, set aside hatred, worry-free reincarnation. The evil spirit was tempted, but just as our hands touched, suddenly, a weird wind kicked up, and right behind me, the patient opened her eyes. Would you believe it? The evil spirit just hijacked the scene, and the funniest part? She had this. How could she get knocked around like that? This wasn't the time for such thoughts. I dashed out after her and cornered her right in the clothing. To force out the evil spirit, I whipped out my trusty talisman and slapped it right on her. Talk about a fiery wake-up call. But my strength was lacking, and that fiery experience didn't last long before the talisman went flying. Yet even that brief moment did the trick. As the girl spewed out a puddle of black goo, the evil spirit got the boot. But just as I was about to retrieve my talisman, the spirit came. She looked like she was ready to choke me out, but to a regular person, it looked like just a harmless scuffle. Only that one guy could see. But rather than help, she mouthed to me, unless you say those two magic words, get ready to watch me sink like a ship. As I retrieved my talisman, the evil spirit bolted in fright. After all, bored powers don't last forever. The one lending me power was the guy in the black coat, but in my rush, I didn't even notice there was another guy around. That guy was my childhood friend, Ying Jia, a government official. His real reason for coming back home. I was supposed to inherit the title of the shaman, but turned it down. Little did I know I had become the prey, while feeling low because of catching the evil spirit. The black-clad man stood nearby and, through our snappy banter, his identity was as clear as day. He was just a failed celestial dragon. Legend says, a celestial dragon fears being seen by humans while ascending. If seen, it loses power and falls back to earth. Unless one is revered by a pure spirit person as a deity, they get the 1 in a million shot to ascend again after years of devotion. And here I was, the pure spirit individual. But this dragon already had quite the reputation because it had butchered several villages after its failed ascension. It left a barren wasteland everywhere it went. Of course, he fell because of humans, so my grandmother drilled it into me that dragons are evil. That's why I couldn't go out anywhere. To make sure the dragon wouldn't get too riled up, my grandma even gave me a magic stone, supposedly drawn by the dragon, and it turned out as she envisioned. In rage, the dragon fused at my grandma and burnt her altar. This caused her untimely demise, and all my loved ones faced the dragon's wrath. Thus, I had been stuck living in the mountains all alone. Now with that said, clever you probably guessed the conclusion. This dragon and the shaman must end up together. The director pulled no punches. My childhood friend found me under the guise of needing help picking out glasses for the king, and I was torn about helping. Suddenly, I glimpsed into the future, and there we were so happy. Being a pure spirit, every vision I had as a child, so I mistakenly thought had never fall victim to the dragon's schemes, and I readily agreed when he said, let's go. But as soon as we set off on our journey, we were already being targeted by some shady characters. Everyone knew my friend was here on the king's orders. The enemies seeking the truth would never let me off easy. So when he accidentally banged his head, I desperately set out to find some herbs. Just then, the enemy showed up, and after getting no answers, they cruelly dispatched him, while the dragon merely watched the whole time like a stone statue. But then I spotted my friend's body, and an idea suddenly hit me. If I could steal that magic stone by posing as him, wouldn't I be in control? Hating human bodies, my first possession felt uneasy, limiting my power. Yet dealing with small fries isn't an issue. Funny detail, when faced with these murderous henchmen, the dragon merely kicked them aside, sparing their lives. This hinted that his village slaying and altar burning escapades might have been a huge misunderstanding, otherwise I'd never fantasize about the guy who killed. Meanwhile, after picking herbs, I was about to return when I spotted my friend soaked in blood, just as I wanted to ask what happened. But to my shock, I spotted another figure that looked exactly like him in the distance. No doubt, the one who couldn't collect his goods was the spirit, and I mistakenly thought the dragon did him in. But the dragon couldn't care less about explaining. Then, he shoved me aside and rushed to find the magic stone. It was about to be mine. But when he chanted his spell, nothing changed. He thought his pose was off and quickly shut his eyes to chant again. But again, nothing happened. What really shocked him wasn't the spell failure, but the fact that he couldn't leave this body at all. While baffled, I pushed him aside and dashed for the magic stone. As I neared, the dragon finally snapped out of it. Then with a flick of his wrist, he sent the magic stone tumbling off the cliff, which sent me into a panic. I foolishly thought I could teach him a lesson, but he dodged me easily and almost sent me tumbling into the abyss. Luckily, the dragon instinctively yanked me back, but unwittingly, his footing wasn't secure at all. So down we went together right into the cliff. The spirit happened to catch this and opted not to jump after us. And this is just the beginning of our descent into chaos. Thus ends the first episode of Ghost Bow, where this girl, entering the palace for the first time, is hit by an unpleasant but in a royal residence. How could it smell so bad? She dashed towards it and nearly found the source when she heard a familiar voice. It was her childhood friend who tricked her into the palace. With no other option, she turned and soon found herself before an old wall. A hand reached out from the well, but it was only now that she realized it was too late. Desperately, she grasped for a rock but was dragged back into the depths by the evil spirit. Just when she gave up, a man suddenly dropped from the sky. It was the proud evil spirit in her friend's body, still resistant, unaware she would need the dragon pearl if not adapting. She unwittingly fantasized about her friend's peaceful sleep, admiring it. Suddenly, she panicked. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.